Is going to be recorded, and we are going to be presenting this to all of biology. There will be an email sent out in case anyone is interested in following up with this recording. So welcome to everyone who is here in person on Zoom here and who are watching this afterwards. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. This is the informational meeting for the biology field program, which is going to be taking place this summer, the inaugural first run of our work out on Santa Rosa Island Research Station. If you can see right here, this is Torrey Pines. It's a picture I took, and that is a vista that you'll be able to see if you join this. I want to introduce each of the members of our team. There's Dr. Allison Alvarado, who I hope will be able to join us in a few minutes. She is an evolutionary ecologist. Myself, I am a marine ecophysiologist. And Dr. Von May, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm faculty in biology, and I am also an evolutionary ecologist.
Yeah, and so we are going to be co-teaching this course. We're all here to facilitate this course that'll be both on the island for a majority, and then also has components that are on campus, both before we go out and afterwards. And when we're out on the island, the three of us will be rotating through, and each one of us will be able to show you how we use field methods in our own research. So let's give you a little bit of background on the research station. Some of you have been out there. I know a couple of you come out with me on research projects. At least one person here has been out very recently. But some of you have never been to our station or maybe don't even know where it is. So that little arrow should help you. That's kind of where our research station is on Santa Rosa, which is the second largest of the islands off the coast of California. We opened this research station in 2014, and with us today is Russ Bradley, who's actually the director of science research and education at the station. So I want him to introduce our facilities there.
Woo, for sure. Thank you, Seymour. I'm Russ Bradley. Thanks, Dr. Dilly. I'm the director of the research station for the university. So within the United States of America, there are 10 university-run research stations within national parks, only 10. And our university, which is the youngest and smallest of the California State Universities, has one in a unique cooperative agreement with Channel Islands National Park. And what we do is we try to create transformative research and educational experience for our students, for other middle school, high school students, for members of our community. Within our national park, your national park, public lands, you know, it takes a bit of effort to get there, but these are, you know, incredible place, incredible resources, natural and cultural resources. And so the research station was open in 2014, still fairly young program. But as it says here, we have facilities to house people. We utilize the bunkhouse that was part of the later part of the island's ranching and hunting history that, you know, we can support up to 36 people. We have a you know, communal kitchen. We have resources there. We have staff, our staff present who help facilitate activities at the station. There is running water. There is electricity. There is some internet access, though that's very, it should be clear that, like, you know, with these intensive programs, we're going to allow more use of that than we have in the past, but this is not fire hose broadband internet, and that you know, you should not be expecting that it to be. But we have some laboratory facilities, we have research stuff, we have, you know, vehicles that support certain activities, but it's a great platform for research and for education and for these types of intensive programs, which I had some experiences at a research station both when I was in high school and particularly in that whole intensive semester when I was in my senior year. And I think these programs are incredibly valuable. And that's why I'm happy that we are able to host them and that we have some funding to support that. And then I can say things specifically right now, but something that came up in yesterday's session and a constant question everyone has is, will by this summer we have, what will the COVID restrictions be and all that? And all I can tell you is that I feel extremely confident that we are moving in a positive direction on that front. Hopefully fairly
Or
soon.
negative direction.
Yes, it's true. Really negative direction. But yes, there are all signs point to the fact that at least, that will not preclude us from being able to run this program. And there'll be more details and hopefully some more changing things as we advance through the spring semester. But just wanted to throw that out there. So thanks very much, Dr. Dilley.
Thank you very much, Director. So that should give you a little bit of overview of the site and a little bit about the history of it. Of course, the place where we are going to be stationed was an active ranching site. That is the bunkhouse on the upper right. You can actually see used to be bunkhouses for the ranch hands on this active cattle ranch. We will be staying out there. There are bunk beds in there. It's not like you're going to be sleeping on the floor. So it is a nice facility. It has a good kitchen. There will be that sort of interpersonal growth in there. That will be on the continuous days on the island stage. So that our whole program is aiming to run for 17 days during summer session B. The 11th is a Monday. And so on the first couple of days, we'll be on campus. We'll go over the schedule in detail in a few minutes, but we'll start on campus and then we're going to have 10 straight days. Dr. Von Mai is going to head out first. He'll take the first leg of that. Then we're going to trade off. I will be going second, and then Dr. Alvarado will be going out third, and she's going to come back with the class. There'll be a weekend in between instruction, and then the final week, the last 3 days, you're going to be working with your groups to finish up the projects that you did on the island, develop the stats and the presentations, and then actually give a sort of mini symposium of the work that you did out there. One thing that Director Bradley didn't bring up right now, but it's very important, is the subsidized nature of this program. We are covering a lot of the costs here. It's one of the reasons why this is such an exciting opportunity this year specifically, because it's only going to cost you $1,600 for tuition and fees. And that may feel like a fair amount of money because that's more than what you charge during the school year, but that is just exactly what the fees and tuition cost for 4 units of extended ed. All the associated costs will be included. In addition, there will be some scholarships based on both need and merit. That we'll get to how you apply for those. So we do have some ability to cover even a few of those tuitions, either partially or fully. The stuff that is included is actually pretty sizable. So that includes all of your transport to and from the islands. You'll be taking a ferry, Island Packers. If you haven't been on it before, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours out to Santa Rosa, a good 40-mile trip. That will be covered. Additionally, the lodging in the bunkhouse, that we do have to pay for that, but that is covered by this donation, this generous donation. Food while you're on the island, as well as lunches for the on-campus portion of it, that's going to be covered. And equipment, all the work that you're going to be doing out on the field, aside from your own lab notebook and a laptop, which you might even be able to rent, all of that's going to be provided for you as well. You won't need to purchase anything there. So who are we looking for? About 20 to 22 students. We are heavily preferencing biology students. That's really who we're looking for here, because the courses are going to count towards the biology degree. Now, this includes Bio 490, which is we're calling Island Ecology. It's a special topic, so we can kind of define it as is. That will be worth 3 units, and Biology 491, which is Ecological Field Methods, that'll be worth 1 unit. So the combined will be 4 total units. Those can count towards your biology elective. So if you're not a graduating senior and you're looking to fulfill those 24 units of electives, these can count towards it. You must enroll in both courses. You're coming out with us. It's all kind of rolled together. So that will be the enrollment methods.
Hey, Dr. Dilly, can I just interrupt with a question that I just thought of?
Please.
Which is the 490 is the same number that you give to all your special topics, right? What if
Correct.
a student has taken another special topics class previously?
It will show up differently because of the name on the course. So it'll show up as Biology 490 with the name of the course. Biology 490 Island Ecology is a unique name.
Yeah, great.
So if they've taken another Biology 490, it will also count because that was a different course. Cool. So what besides 4 units, which is good for most of you, will you be getting out of this experience? Well, number one, first and foremost, you're going to be gaining experience in how to do biological field methods across a variety of expertise and disciplines, both in marine environments, but also in terrestrial environments, as well as in the lab, right? How to analyze that. Dr. Von May will speak to the skills you're going to learn in a lab in a second. You're going to get experience designing and executing research projects. So different than in a class where you're sort of handed a syllabus and some pre-prepared labs, different even than research, which I think some of you are involved in with different faculty, where you are going out and working on a set of projects that have been long designed before you and will continue after. These are going to be self-contained units where you're going to be intensively designing, refining these questions and actually carrying out the research. There will be input from us, but it will be student driven. You're going to be able to interact closely with your peers, with professors, and even with researchers in the field. It's an active area of research. National Park Service is out all the time. And so we're going to be leveraging some of that and hopefully including some of their lectures on us. So I'm hoping we can have some of that out there. You'll be applying skills in an immersive environment. It is one thing to study ecology in a lecture or even in a lab where you're walking around campus with a notebook. It's another thing to be, out in the wind, at 7:30 in the morning, making observations really in the field. Those will help prepare you for career opportunities in these kind of fields, as we would say. And then, of course, if you need those credits, you'll absolutely get those. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Von May to tell you about the skills.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Dilly. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to cover the first few slides here, focus on the different skills that you will develop while you take this course. First of all, overall, you will participate in the design and also carry out field research projects from start to finish. And that will include, if you look at the figure on the right, it shows the whole cycle of the scientific method. You're going to be embedded in and will be practicing all the elements of the scientific method, starting from observations on the top. You will generate questions while in the field. You will generate, based on those questions, you will generate hypotheses. You will discuss with your group. Then you will generate predictions, design field observations, field experiments, collect data, organize data, carry out analysis, and you will go through this whole cycle at least twice while you are on the island, because you are going to participate in 2 projects. In addition to that, you will develop identification skills, flora and fauna, both terrestrial and intertidal species. You will collect data using standard techniques, and you will also learn how to record data on geographic coordinates, make basic maps of your study areas, and so on. And in the next slide, we see that you're also going to build your skills in biostatistics. You're going to learn how to organize your data sets, select the appropriate methods, depending on the hypothesis that you are examining in your study. We are also including a module in which you are going to learn how to use R, a programming language. This is a language that is open access. It's a free program that you can download and continue using after the course. The figures included here are examples of figures that you can make or we can typically make using R. And so it's a very important skill that is also transferable to other fields. In addition, you will learn, well, or practice, write, review, edit research reports. You will also prepare and give compelling research presentations that you will share at the end of the course in a symposium. In the next slide, what to expect, what to bring. So very important, make a list ahead of time. Basic field gear includes hiking boots, backpack, sleeping bags, you bring sheets, towels, a laptop. We included a note here that is, if you don't own your own laptop, there is a very high chance you can either rent or borrow a laptop from the room library on campus. We're going to double check to ensure that that's a possibility. You will also bring your field notebook, a sunscreen, hat, glasses, all the basic stuff that you would take not only on the single day trip, but you will be using that for the 10 days on the island. In the next slide, we see what type of students we're looking for. Well, as faculty, both all of us, Dr. Alvarado, Dr. Dili, and I, and also field station staff, we typically expect participants who are very enthusiastic about being in the field. We are also going to examine or assess your work ethic. You will request a recommendation from faculty, and hopefully that recommendation also highlights your participation in classes, your engagement. Your GPA and relevant courses are also important, of course. And for scholarships, you will apply for scholarships. The course offers scholarships, and you will write essays for those scholarships. Now, you can participate at current sophomores, and also graduating seniors are welcome to apply. Now, this slide shows you a general timeline for the course. So overall, the course starts, we spend 2 days on campus. There is an introduction with all professors, July 11 and 12. On July 13th, we will be traveling with me to the island, to Santa Rosa Island. We spend 3 days on the initial orientation, generating questions, and then Dr. Dili arrives on July 16th, and that's when you will start working on the first group project. As part of a team, 4 or 5 students will work on a research project. And on July 19th, Dr. Alvarado arrives to the island. I will be returning to the mainland when Dr. Dili is on the island. And then when Dr. Alvarado arrives, you will overlap with 2 instructors for a full day or about day and a half. And then all students return to the mainland with Dr. Alvarado on July 22nd. Then there is a weekend off. And the following week, you will finalize your projects, work on group presentations on campus. You will continue working with both Dr. Alvarado and Dili. And in the next slide, and please, Dr. Dili, I will continue with the following slides. Let me know if you want to jump in any, but I can describe these.
The next couple, and then I'll finish up.
Yeah, great. Thank you. This slide shows you the general structure of the course. So after reviewing the timeline, we want to give you a little more detail on the topics. On CSU-CI, the first 2 days, there is going to be an introduction to biological field research, introduction to the scientific method. Then when you go to the island, Santa Rosa Island Research Station, you will continue with field observations. You will ask 20 questions. It's a very important exercise that will allow you to generate questions based on your own experience in the field, both on terrestrial, intertidal, and marine ecology. So you will generate 20 questions. And with your group, you'll participate and learn in the practice of using different protocols for data collection. You will start working on group projects. Those 2 group projects will be carried from start to finish while on the island. And then when you return to the mainland, to the CSU campus, you will work on data analysis, mapping, writing, presentation. You will prepare your presentations, and then you will present your group projects. And in the next slide, this is an example of the schedule. We have a full schedule for the whole course. This gives
and we're gonna, when we send out the link next week, you'll get a copy of the schedule.
Yeah, cool. You will get a copy of the full schedule. But overall, we want to also give you a heads up. 3 weeks once you enroll in the course, in the 2 courses officially, you will get a packing list, which will include also a reader list. It's a curated list of the scientific papers. We're going to share a number of scientific papers that you are going to read. The papers will be relevant to the coursework that you will do while on the island, and it will be related to a lot of topics of terrestrial, intertidal, and marine ecology. As an example, here we have the first 3 days of the course. The first 2 are on campus, a welcome and orientation. So we have, breakdown. In general, you will have activities in the morning, typically starting at 9 a.m. On the island, activities will start earlier in the day because we want to make full use of the daylight hours and also the tidal schedule or the schedule of tides. Afternoons are typically spent sometimes in the field or sometimes in the classroom or in the station working on data analysis, lectures, and other activities. Yeah, and if you want, Dr. Dilly, if you want to continue.
Yeah,
here.
I'll just go through this, just a couple more slides here, then we're going to open this up for any questions you might have. But one question, you guys are undergrads, so this is the question I get the most, is how are we getting graded? And the answer here is it's going to be a mixture of your own work and your work as part of a group. So there will be 2 projects, as Dr. Von Meij mentioned. There's going to be a marine project that's going to actually be designed by your team. That's going to be the first one. Your team is going to be 4 to 5 students, and your group is going to narrow down those great research questions until you come up with a couple that will be sort of your top choices. When I join on the island, Dr. Von Meij and I will go over your top choices that you'll submit, and we'll select one of those projects for you to pursue for a couple days. These are very small projects. They're not going to be, earth-shattering findings, but they're going to be good examples for you to go around that circle. So that'll be the first one. The second one, the terrestrial examples that you're going to have with Dr. Alvarado, she's going to be presenting you guys a series of potential projects, and you'll be selecting from them. So this will be 2 different ways for you to experience running a project. Both of them have a written component. Both of these will actually be due after the semester is over. So the 27th will be our presentation day. That's going to be presenting on class as a group. That's a Wednesday. The following Monday, August 1st, that's actually when both of your papers are going to be due. And they're going to be due by you, not by your group. You're going to individually write up your work, but you'll have the group to talk to. Additionally, and this you haven't done in most classes, I think, you're going to be doing an authorship review. An authorship review is essentially a way to reflect on what you did towards this project and what your partners did towards this project. Not everybody contributes in exactly the same way, but you may all be contributing in beneficial ways. Maybe somebody is more stats inclined, maybe somebody's better at programming, maybe somebody spent more time working in the field doing the observations. That's all fine. That's all good contribution to a project. We want you to enumerate those differences and how you contributed, how your reflection of your own contribution and everyone else. Again, you'll be writing your own of there. But we want you to have group grades as well. So that's 60%, 25 plus 25 plus 5 plus 5. There is 10% each for those final group presentations on the 27th. Those will be PowerPoint style presentations. And then 20% will be your participation engagement throughout the course with your group. You will be getting, it should say 490 and 491 there. You're going to be getting the same grade for both of your classes. We're not going to divide the grade up at all. So timeline right now, this is probably what you're most interested in. What are we doing right now? Well, we have a live Qualtrics interest survey. So for those of you that are currently on the call that have already filled this out, great. We already have your email. You don't need to do this again. Stand by. For those of you that are new to this or just coming to this, we'd like you to fill out the intent to apply survey. We will not contact you again if you haven't filled that out. That is going to give us sort of a check that you're really interested in hearing more about it. So once you do the intent to apply, and I promise it's like 3 total minutes, just a couple questions, basically just giving us your email and a sense that you went through this talk. Just fill that out. You don't even need to make a commitment yet. But once you fill that out, we're going to be collating those on February 27th, which is, I think, Sunday. And then on the 28th, our formal application will go live. So that's just a week from now. The formal application will be the full thing. Those you have a couple weeks to do. However, I would say if you're interested in this program and you're really certain you're going to be applying, I would ping a professor for a recommendation now. We only need one recommendation. The only rule is that you cannot ask one of the 3 of us, because that's kind of a conflict of interest. So you can't ask Dr. Alvarado, Dr. Ronmeyer, or myself, but any other professor is okay. It does not need to be in biology, although that's probably preferred. Note, and you can tell this professor, it's not a letter. We don't need them to write a full letter. That's a lot of work. It's just going to be a relatively quick survey for them. So we've done them. It's pretty painless. This formal application will go live on the 28th. It is due the 11th. So that gives you a couple weeks to do this. Afterwards, that'll give us spring break in the week afterward to go through and make our decisions on acceptances and scholarships, as well as waitlist. So we will be notifying everybody on March 26th, whether or not you get in, whether you're waitlisted, all decisions will come out on March 26th. And we give you that because on 29th, summer session registration opens. So you'll know whether you've gotten in. So we're going to ask that you quickly sign up for these 2 classes for the second session. If you don't, we're going to be opening up waitlist on the April 11th. So for anyone who doesn't reply in the first round, that allows us to open up more spots. As I said before, we're limited to between 20 and 22 total students. That's limited by the bunk. And then, of course, the field program takes place from, should say the 27th there, the 11th to the 27th. All right, so what is required in the formal application? You'll obviously see it when it comes out, but just in general, you can prepare this already. We want you to give us a 2-page or less CV. That should include your GPA, your research interests, your career goals. So this is a little statement about, where you want to take research, where this might fit in. It does not need to be the same as the general application essay. This is just sort of a statement of where you're hoping your career takes you, your future aspirations, as well as your courses taken. We are going to be asking for a short form copy of your transcripts as well. So that's just going to be a submission. Also, one reference, survey-based, no letter, as I mentioned, a general application essay. Now I'm going to give you the prompt ahead of time. This is like cheating on the exam here. I'm going to give you the exam question. The exam question prompt is, what appeals to you about this program and why are you a good candidate? That's it, super open-ended. Give us 500 words, 1 page or less. I suggest strongly that you write this ahead of time, because it's just going to be a box that you're going to copy paste in the Qualtrics. And it's kind of a barrier. If you get to that, you've been humming through, answering your name, your email, and so forth, and you get to this, oh, and then a lot of people stop filling out the application at that point. So do yourself a favor, fill out the essays before you answer the Qualtrics. That way you can plug and play and finish it. There will be one additional essay if you are interested in doing a need-based scholarship essay. That'll be 1 page, 500 words. You will also need to show some form of evidence that you are receiving at least partial financial aid. We want to make sure that the need-based financial aid here, scholarship, is going to people who are eligible for FAFSA, and therefore, you've gone through that process. That's our only real restriction on that. And then merit-based, which is open to anyone, 1 more page. So you'll see the prompts on our site. Those are optional, but if you want to be considered for the scholarships, you'll apply there. So here's where you can take your camera out or take a screenshot, grab your phone. This is the survey link. So you can either click on that link or you can grab a picture of that QR code. And I'm going to leave that up here during the Q&A session, so you have time to grab it. As I said, it's honestly 3 or 4 minutes to fill this out. Should be very simple. So at this point, I'm going to open it for questions to everyone. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, question. That survey, if we had already done this, like in the last intro session, we're good, just to reiterate.
Yes, yes. Just to reiterate, we did change a little bit of the language in there, but if you did this in the last informational session, no changes here. Just a little bit more info in the session.
About the reference, you said it has to be from faculty, correct? Just as long as it wasn't y'all.
Yes, if you really can't find a faculty member, we would take a professional reference. So an administrator or a mentor or somebody that you worked for. The closer to science, the better though. Faculty would be most preferred.
And you mentioned on a need-based scholarship that some proof of FAFSA would be needed for graduating seniors. Would that imply that we would have to do the FAFSA application, the 2022 to 2023?
If you were eligible,
Yeah.
if you were eligible before, this is just showing us that you were on financial aid. So
Yeah.
that's a good question. If you
I can
were
jump in. I can jump in a bit on that, and that we still have to refine how the specific scholarships are being worked for this program, but the companion program that I'm helping to run in with ESRM and anthropology in June, the need-based scholarships that we're doing there, we're doing 3, which are they're paying for the whole thing, the entire tuition. And what we're doing, I just have to double check with financial aid like we did last time. What we do is we just get financial aid if you're accepted for the need-based scholarship to run. They just run your file and can confirm with us that you have been eligible for financial aid in your time. So yeah, it is. You don't need like a whole new financial aid application.
Thanks, Russ.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I will add one thing too that I don't think we mentioned in the session yesterday. And this, I think, was kind of assumed by the faculty, but just so that everyone's clear, when we talk about the food costs and stuff are covered, but the reality of this field situation is that, it's shared meals that everyone's participating in, the cooking and the cleaning of, and, all those sort of camp chores, that kind of thing is all part of the expectation of being and working in the field.
Yes, and that's a good point. Thanks, Russ. One of the things is that part of this project is the lifestyle of field work as well, because it is a small community that you're going to be a part of, a very flat community. As professors, we will also be cooking and cleaning and doing our dishes. There's not going to be a hierarchy in terms of the work and chores that are out there. Everyone will participate in that. We will be probably cycling through. We haven't talked that much about it, but it'll probably be something in terms of the group that you are part of. And the research will be in charge of dinner 1 every 4 nights or something like that, and cleaning and so forth. So the food is provided, but we don't have a cook. We don't have a maid. That is everybody.
If you have some experience cooking, very welcome.
Oh, yes.
That would be me right there.
And even if you don't, this is these types of field camp experiences and being able to work with the team, and those are great skills to be able to learn. I have worked with lots of people in the field who have had 0 experience and had 0 opportunity to cook for large groups of people, but have learned great skills that they've taken with them on their careers. So don't be afraid of it either.
Peanut butter sandwiches can carry you far, but you do get tired.
Cooking for large amounts of people is basically what I was raised to do partially.
Let's hear from anyone. More questions?
I was gonna ask, I don't, like, over the summer, I go back home to the Bay Area. So is there any kind of deal on housing nearby or like on campus, or would we have to figure something out ourselves?
Russ?
You want me to jump in on that? Okay. So,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the short answer is that yes, we should. What we're doing with the other program is we are providing the housing. We're trying to figure out with this one, with the amount of funding that we have, how much we can do. And I don't know if we could do it for everyone, but for folks that are from like out of town, yes, there is probably ways that we can support housing. And we have to confirm this with the budget, but I think for everybody, we're going to be able to provide in the on-campus stuff, the food, at least some of the meals. So yeah, I think, we have to finalize it, but Dr. Jillian Vaughn, maybe you can jump in here too, but I think sort of where we're at is that for those students who are not local, we may be able to provide some arrangements to cover on-campus housing during the on-campus period.
Yeah, just to build on that, one of the questions on the formal application will be, do you have housing needs? And another question will be, is the funding of this this housing need critical to your ability to participate? Because we don't have an unlimited amount of money, but we do have some limited funds to be able to support some people living temporarily. There aren't that many days on campus, so fortunately it isn't a large amount of time. It's 2-3 nights, I guess, ahead of time, and then 5 nights at the end. That would be total support. And I know many students probably still live relatively nearby or have a friend they can stay with for a few days, so that would help defray all of this. But we don't want housing to become a limiting factor. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Please, Rodney.
What exactly is the was it survey reference you mentioned for the to get a reference from another professor?
Where do you want to take that?
Yeah, for references, you need to contact a faculty, another faculty other than Dr. Dilly, Dr. Alvarado, or myself. And that reference will provide a brief statement, address a couple of questions about you as a student. What is your experience, how the faculty knows you, in which capacity the faculty knows you. And typically we ask faculty to provide a general assessment of how well the person will work with others in the field. Because for us in a field class, one of the most important things to know is how the person will cope with, living with a group for a number of days. To some extent, the reference will give us an idea of how well the person will participate. And at the same time is overall the enthusiasm. Faculty typically will speak well, will speak highly about students if they know you and if you have done well in their class, or if you have shown interest in both the particular class or the research that they do.
Okay, so it's just like a shorter, more to the point reference letter in that case.
Right. Well, there's no letter.
Yeah.
It's they're going to be getting once you have your reference identified, you'll put the email in, and we will send these faculty a link to a short. It's another Qualtrics basically.
Yeah.
A short Qualtrics that they will fill out. That's pretty much a quick thing. There will be space for them to elaborate a little bit as well, but it is not as long as a letter, nor is it nearly as formal.
Yeah, okay, got it. Thank you.
And I see another participant, Gabby. Do you have any questions about the course?
I was actually just going to ask a similar question that Riley had, but you guys cleared that up. So thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Is there anything else we can elaborate? Anything you can think that the viewers at home might want to know?
I got one. Another one. How long will the classes be on campus? I'm assuming not just like hour 15-minute classes, or is it
the 2 days are going to be pretty much all day.
Okay.
So the 2 days prior to going will be basically 9 to 5. I don't want to switch office in case people need the Qualtrics, but that schedule we sent out to you in the previous slide sort of lays out what we're going to be doing. It's in a short and intensive course. So we would assume that you are not participating in any other work during this 2.5-week period. Obviously, you'll be on the island for a large portion of it, but to get everything in, it will be full days for the 2 days prior, full days for the Monday and Tuesday after we come back, and then a half day to 2/3 of a day for the symposium.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, I think we'll call it there. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And please fill out the Qualtrics survey if you have not already. And I look forward to interacting with you and seeing your applications come through.